welcome to Zebra's Sample Hunting Adventures, where we've got another product review. This one from Oneleaf, the Commander NV400 Eagle 2-26 by 50 day and night vision scope. Now, let's have a look at it. It's got a lot going on, but I tell you, everything that's on this scope functions and works perfectly, and it all combines together to make an awesome unit. So this is a digital rifle scope. So when we talk about the zoom 2-26, it's actually a digital zoom, not an optical zoom. But some of the things it does share with a normal scope is you have adjustment here, which would normally be a diopter adjustment on a normal scope. This just adjusts the clarity of your drop down menu and your reticle. The front one here is just like a normal scope, so it's adjusting your objective. So when you're looking further or closer, you want to be adjusting this, sort of like what you would call your parallax adjustment. But this isn't parallax, it's just focus. Now you might think that these big turrets here for adjusting the reticle. No, they're not. The top one is for the battery storage, and the side one is for charging and also for transporting data. So it does come with a cable so you can transfer data, because this is capable of recording photos and video along with audio. So that's kind of a neat feature. So charging port, media port, and it has a micro SD card in there. It does come with one. I think it's a 64 giga. So it also came with mounts ready to go. Now I would have preferred to have lower mounts, but they supplied them and it fits on this rifle quite good. Could have been a little bit lower, which would have allowed for a little bit better cheek weld when using it, but we're going to deal with that as it is, because that's what we're reviewing. So the mounts look really good quality. I haven't had any dramas with them. Everything's good. The screw quality attached to my Picatinny rail here on the Tika really well. Yeah, and they on the top of the ring it has a little Picatinny setup so that you can mount your infrared torch, and it's got another one here which maybe you could run another attachment. I don't know what you would run, but you do have your little your rubberized eyepiece here just to block out the light around, so when you're looking at the screen you're not getting any interference. And then we also have a sunshade for daytime use, and then you just pop it around to open it up for at night to allow more lighting. Now we've got a simple on-off button, and then on top we have a few little toggles here, a few buttons to adjust through the menus. So basically this dial here does your zooming in and out while you're using it as a scope. But when you want to adjust some parameters or input some data, you can bring up the menu by a long press on the top and hold it and up, and it'll come on. And then you use the dial to navigate through the menu, pressing the top button to enter it, and to change the parameters to press OK again. Another long press brings you out of the menu and back to the rifle scope. On top here we've got some simple buttons for photo and video, on and off, and brightness controls for your screen. Now while we're at it, let's talk about the rangefinder. Why would you have a rangefinder? Now if you've done a bit of night shooting, you will realise that judging distance at night is quite difficult, and therefore having the rangefinder can save you a missed shot. Now once you've input the data for your load for the rifle you're using, the rangefinder actually adjusts the reticle for you, so you don't have to worry about holdover. You just hit the button, it will range it for you, and you can actually have it ranging constantly. And all you have to do is touch the button on the top here of your zoom range adjustment, and it'll lock that reticle in where the holdover needs to be, and then you just raise your aim till that point and squeeze off the shot. Now, I have been playing with that a fair bit, and it is very accurate. I had no drama hitting my steel gong out to 500 yards with the 2D3 the other day, and anything inside that was a piece of cake. So that feature is really cool. The infrared torch is fairly self-explanatory when we're talking about night vision. It is different to thermal, where it's working on a heat signature. The night vision here is actually just increasing the light into here and giving you an image. So without the infrared light, you really need fairly big moon or very big stars to be able to see at night. But what I've found is daytime mode is obviously great for your day while you've got light, but then I just generally switch straight to night mode and use the torch. Now the torch is adjustable for spread of beam, so when you're in nice and close, you spread the beam so you've got a nice good field of view. When you're trying to look a long way out, what you need to do is intensify that beam and narrow it right up so it gives you an intense light, and that way you can see a long way out. Now they're claiming to be out to 400 and something yards, but tonight we'll have a good look at some different distances and just see what it is capable of and what optically we could comfortably shoot out to in the pitch black dark using the infrared torch. Anyway, the menu is quite easy to navigate. Everything is very simple to input. I will show you some video looking through at the menu. So the only drama with the recording function of the scope is it doesn't record whilst you are using the menu, and it only records the reticle in the center of the scope, and it doesn't show you the drop down reticle when you are using your rangefinder. So having found that, I've had to record the menu just by putting my camera up to the scope. So the quality of the image that you are going to see when I'm showing you the menu options and how to sight in the reticle, it is better than what I'm showing you, basically is what I'm trying to say. It was very difficult to line up my camera through the scope and show you the menu. It would have been ideal if we could record it just straight onto the device, but anyway, it'll give you a really good idea on how the menu operates and a couple of the features that are important to get it sighted in for you, and then go and use it. I've found it really good quality. All the focusing rings are smooth, but they're not tight, which is good because you actually need to be focusing the objective quite a fair bit when you're changing distances quickly. It's something that you do need to adjust. So the fact that it is easily one hand adjustable is quite good. When you're on the gun, you can just get it nice and clear. Everything else is in a good position to use when you're in prone position or on a bench. And everything's quite big, and you don't have to sort of fumble around for it. You can quite easily feel what's what and where it is, and it all works perfectly good. This rifle scope's going to really appeal to your varminers, nighttime foxing, rabbits, hares, that sort of thing. Get chasing after some pigs and that sort of thing. Maybe you're chasing some wild dogs for a farmer. This is going to keep you concealed because you're not going to have to throw that big light beam out there. It's not going to disrupt any domestic animals if you're hunting on a farm fringe or something like that, you know, and you're trying to get the dingo or some foxes for a local farmer. You're not going to scare his sheep off with the big torch flashing around. You can actually literally sit there in the dark and just monitor what's going on, and when you get a chance you can just take the shot and get rid of that predator. So that's a really cool feature. I think that's where this product is aimed at, that sort of market. your feral animals and your varmints. It fits really well on this little Tikka 223, and yeah, it was really simple to use. It's sighted in. Now this gun is a legitimate 1/2-inch 5-shot rifle, and I've found I can replicate that with this scope on it. So that's sort of giving you a good idea that the reticle is consistent from, because it is, you're turning it on and off. It's not like it's on all the time. So it's good to be able to have the trust in the technology that you're not going to have a couple of quick shots before you go out to make sure that the reticle's in the right place. It's been saved into the memory, and it is repeatable, which is really a must-have, isn't it? So you've got to be able to rely on your equipment when you're doing this sort of stuff. But anyway, I'll give you a look through at the menu. I'll do some daytime recording through the scope. I'll do some nighttime recording through the scope, and we might even try and get out there and get a rabbit or a fox or two. So stick around for that, and we'll just see how we go with the Oneleaf Commander NV400. Guys, this isn't ideal, so I apologise for the quality of the image that you're looking at. Now I'm having to record the screen through my phone through the scope, because the recording function only records the reticle and the image, so you can't actually scroll through the menu and record all that, and it also won't record the point of aim for when you've got it adjusted to use the rangefinder. So what I'd like to try and do is just show you the menu. So we'll click on the menu and get it up. So there it is there. Reticle type, obviously you can go in there, you've got 7 reticles you can choose from. There's one for everyone. I kind of like the one that I've got on there, but we'll just choose this one. So this is that's the dot. Anyway, shot 0, that's how to sight it in. Reticle colour, red, green, black, white, blue. If you go to ballistic parameters, this is where you can put in your load data, and this will allow you to use the rangefinder function where it adjusts your point of aim for the distance that you've the rangefinder has hit for you. So that's really handy. Got that on. Let's go out of that. First focal plane, second focal plane, that just changes how your reticle zooms in and out with your digital zoom. Now your range marker align is for your rangefinder. It adjusts the rangefinder to the center of the scope. Best done at night time, so you can actually see the reflection in the night vision mode as to where it is. Very hard to do during the day. Units, meters, yards. Movie mode, you can adjust the resolution of your movies and your photos, clip time, auto record, all that sort of stuff. Exposure, metering, it's a camera, guys, that's what it is. Magnification adjusts, so that adjusts per little click, 1 magnification. You can obviously change that down so it's much finer. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but anyway. Red dot, button backlight, picture in picture, so you can actually, if I put this on, so we go to just the standard mode, so there you'll see up the top it's like a zoomed in version of what you're looking at. So you could keep it nice and wide for panning, and then if you wanted to shoot, you could use the very top one. I think it's a little bit distracting, but I don't know, maybe the guys that use these things all the time might find it handy. Now let's just have a look. I'm going to go back and turn that off. Now as you can see, it's all a pretty simple menu and display. Doesn't take much to get your head around it. At the moment, I don't think I've got the rangefinder activated, so let's activate it. So that little green square that popped up on the screen is telling me that the rangefinder is activated, and as you can see, the yardage above it, it's calculating the distance. Now, if you can see how it's switching down the bottom there, that little point of aim, it's because the rangefinder is bouncing off a couple of different things there. So you just got to be mindful of that. Let's just hold it there. 443. And what we do is we click the OK button, and that locks it in. So the range goes away, but the little aim point there, it's locked in now. So I can just sit at the range and go ping, ping, ping all day long, and it doesn't matter where I'm aiming. It doesn't change that point of aim. I'm going to just go through the menu here and show you how to adjust the reticle to point of impact. So we go into shot 0. And if you read down the bottom there, it says move red reticle to bullet hole while keeping white reticle on your point of aim. Now at the moment you obviously can't see the white reticle because it's in behind the red one, but if I go like that, so all you've got to do is keep that white reticle on your point of aim, and you're going to move the red reticle to where the bullet impacted. So it's quite simple. So at the moment we're adjusting left and right, and if I click it, it'll adjust up and down. Sorry about the shaking, guys. It's just the way it is. As you can see, if that bullet impacted high and to the right, now we could enter to save the interface. I'm not going to do that because this scope is sighted in. So I'm going to exit it. So it says save failed, but all I had to do was press the record button on the video function and it would have saved it. So it's quite simple. You can change the colour. What would be a colour? Let's see what blue looks like. Oop. Go out. So there you go, you got your blue reticle now. So I'm just adjusting the objective lens there. As you can see, when it comes in, it's pretty good. Then it fades out. So right about there. Pick first focal plane, second focal plane. So at the moment, I think we're on there. Let's go there and I'll show you the difference. So when we zoom in now, you can clearly see that reticle is getting bigger. We've still got our little aim point down the bottom there, that green one. Anyway, I think that gives you a good idea on what we're looking at. Now, I would say if I was doing mostly daytime shooting, I'd just pick an optical scope with a good dial-up turret. But because this has the night vision ability, if you did do a bit of daytime shooting, I don't feel hampered by the quality of the image. It's not super clear, but it's pretty good. But at night time, obviously, the advantage to this is that you don't have to throw out a big O light to be able to effectively see your target and shoot it. It does have a range of 400 and something yards. I've tested it to a couple of 100 yards, no dramas at all, and I've got no doubt that it would go out to that further distance. But later on tonight we'll get it out and I'll show you, we'll keep the rifle in this position and we'll show you what it looks like in the pitch black dark. Right, here we go with second focal plane. So the only thing I've changed is that. As you can see, the reticle stays the same size and nothing else changes. So it's very fine. That target's at 440 yards. That square is 4 inches. That white square is 4 inches across. So we can precisely aim at that square, no dramas. But this is giving you a good idea. Now we do have a little bit of heat shimmer down there at the moment, so don't stress too much on the image quality. Same would be happening through an optical scope. But anyway, that's just showing you the recording abilities of this scope during daylight. We'll do the same from here during the night with the IR light on, and that'll just give you a good look at what this scope is capable of in the dark. Rightio, we're just down the paddock, 200 yards, and what we're going to do is, I haven't even turned this thing on yet, have you? No. So I turn this on, so this will give you a good idea on you know, the repeatability of the scope. I haven't actually shot this rifle for about 2 weeks since I put the scope on and sighted it in. So we're at 200 yards, and we've got a 4-inch gong down there. Let's record it. I might use the audio from my camera rather than the scope, purely because we've got a little bit of wind around and I want my video to have good quality audio. Anyway, so here we go. Righto, so that middle gong is about, I don't know, I think it's a bit over 4 inches, but we have got a little bit of wind, so we'll just go for that one to start with. Oh, let's put the rangefinder on. Righto. 207, so it's giving me the hold over there. Now you're not going to see this in the scope, in the video, but it has given me a dot just a little bit down. So let's see how good we go. Center hold, which is actually putting the blue reticle at top of plate. So we'll just see what the drop is. There you go. That's one dead fox. Righto, let's see how good we are. A little bit breezy at the moment. A little bit of left to right, I reckon. So I might just hold off a little bit. Wow, I think I just broke my gong. I just snapped the bit off it. How good are we? You reckon we can get the little one? $200 yards. Looks like it's shooting a little bit low. There you go. Told you this gun can shoot. Righto, there's 3 hits at 207 yards according to the rangefinder on the scope, just to give you an idea. So that's probably closer to 2-inch, that one. I thought it was a bit smaller than that. You can see where it hit there. That was pretty much a dead center, and then yeah, we hit right on the bottom there. But yeah, so we did have a little bit of wind because I think I was aiming left edge of plate on that one, and it hit over here, and then I held left edge on here. So anyway, that gives you an idea of what it's capable of. Alright, so we've just let it go dark. You know, that fence post is probably all of about 40-50 metres away, and this is on Starlight, I think. So you can see, but it's not awesome, you know. Certainly wouldn't be shooting out 200 yards. 50 metres, you'd definitely see a rabbit or a fox or something. But Let me just flick it to night mode. Alright, so now we're on night mode with no IR. What you're going to notice is when I turn this IR light on, is it just turns it to daylight. So I'm just going to widen that beam and we'll focus. So that pump shed's probably 160 away, 180, something like that. Probably tell you actually. $177. Anyway, so coming back down here, you can see how much detail I need to focus that in. That's pretty good anyway. See how clear that is there. But anyway, alright, that's going to be the target there. So this is our steel target at 440 yards. Now remembering that it's painted black with a white dot, you can just make out the square when I get it focused. Right about there somewhere. Maybe bring in the zoom out, make it clearer, but so yeah. Alright. I reckon I could hit that. You know, I can confidently aim at it, but the problem that I have with this is identifying my target. I don't think that's clear enough to say, hey, that's a rabbit or a fox. So I'm sort of looking at that distance being too far. I've got the rangefinder bouncing off the dam wall there. We're at 201 yards, and I reckon if there was a fox on there, it'd be in a bit of trouble. But let's just zoom in a little bit. Sort of start to lose clarity there, don't we? So yeah, there's nothing there for me. I need to go out. Somewhere around there. Anyway, let's get down the paddock and see if we can find a rabbit or a fox to shoot. Good. Hey?
I still see 3.
Did I get that one?
Yep.
Yep. Ah, you little rat bag. I think I got that one. Rightio, there you go. Did a bit of daytime shooting, a bit of nighttime shooting, and yeah, we've put the scope through its paces, and yeah, let's just do a wrap up on it. So far as the functions go, everything works perfectly fine. The buttons, the recording, seamless. The menu is really easy to navigate once you've sort of read the manual and you've had a bit of a go of it. It's all self-explanatory. All the dials and knobs work perfectly fine. Sighting in process was easy. It held 0 from 1 shoot to the next shoot, even though you're turning it on or off, flattening the battery, recharging. That all worked seamlessly. The rangefinder function with the drop-down reticle worked awesome, all the way out to 500 yards. Once you dialed in your ballistics for your rifle, away you went, and you could just ring steel all day long. Now, so far as performance goes, during the daylight, it sort of seemed to be as good as any daylight scope, normal optical sort of quality. But when you sort of went into the night time and you're using the infrared torch, you do have a limited range. So with rabbits, I found that range was somewhere around that 150 yard bracket. And I think what happens there is the colour of the rabbit, the size of the rabbit, tends to blend in with the background a little bit. So you sort of can still see their eyes and say their ears poking up in the grass, but you tend to lose where the body is a little bit, which made them a little bit hard to aim at. But when I videoed that group of kangaroos, you could clearly see them at 150 to 180. So I think on an animal sort of that size, 200, 250, no dramas at all. So that's kind of where I think the performance side of this thing is sort of on the limit of. But you could see my steel target at 440 yards, but the contrast between the clay bank and the black painted steel is what gives you that ability to be able to see that far at night. Now, I wouldn't be really comfortable with identifying an animal at that distance and shooting at it, because I just felt like that was the outer edge of what you could actually see. Couldn't really tell if there's anything behind it, or you couldn't positively identify what you're shooting at. So bring your distances in a little bit and you'll be fine. So yeah, look, I can't fault the scope. It's performed perfectly. Maybe the one downside to it is that it's heavy, but we're putting this on a varmint gun anyway, so being heavy isn't really an issue. Like I walked with this, we did 3 kilometres. The young bloke didn't want to help hold onto it while we're opening gates or anything like that, but over the shoulder it wasn't too bad. But when you consider everything that's on it, you got to expect a little bit of a weight penalty there. Yeah, anyway, I think this rifle scope would suit someone that's got a bit of property where there's some rabbits and foxes, maybe some wild dogs and pigs and that kind of thing running around. This will get the job done. Now, what I did notice when I was shooting the rabbits is I had maybe nearly a couple of dozen rabbits out on this one field, sort of from 80 yards out to about 180. They just didn't move. You shoot one and they might move around a little bit, but they don't know what's going on. So it is really effective at getting multiple opportunities at multiple animals. So that was kind of cool. I know when you throw the big light up and you start whaling into them with the 223, they usually all scatter down the holes, but because there was no visible light, they basically just hopped around a little bit and you just kept shooting. So that was kind of cool. So that'd be ideal for someone that's on some farmland there and they don't want to disturb the animals, domestic animals, but you still want to get amongst maybe the foxes for that sheep farmer, or wild dogs, up in the high country there on the farm fringe. So yeah, anyway, that's what I reckon of it. I think it's a pretty cool product. If you're in the market for something like this, jump in the description. There'll be a link there to take you over to the website, and I think there'll be a little discount code there for you as well. But anyway, I'll leave it at that. I've been super impressed with it, and getting a lot of features that all work and all together, it makes a great package. All right, well that's the end of this one. If you enjoyed the content, please give me a sub, give me a thumbs up, and leave a comment. If you're looking for more content from me, jump in the description. There'll be a link over to my Patreon page where there's a whole heap more content.